I always say that whenever conservatives say that they're pro family values, that what they really mean is that they're anti-feminist and anti-gay. That's all it means. Like
Yes,
that's all it means. It
yes.
doesn't have anything to do with like making life cheaper for like making the economy better so young people can start families and providing universal health care so young mothers can have a child without going into thousands of dollars of debt. It has nothing to do with any of that shit. It's just about bullying trans people. That's all it really comes down to. And blue-haired feminists. That's just it's awful.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
God, and it's religious based too. Like we were like so. Uh, I think it was Jeremy. You brought this up how uh, the idea of when personhood, the life of personhood starts is a philosophical issue, whatever. Even the concept of life is a complex issue. I
Of
actually
course.
I
Yeah.
looked up like I forgot the characteristics. Let me see of like what scientifically we define as something to be alive, and it's the ability to respire or breathe. For any conservatives listening, respire means breathe. Grow, excrete, reproduce, metabolize, move, and respond to your environment. So that seems pretty simple, but it's not because there's there's been decades of debate on whether or not viruses are alive
Yeah.
because viruses don't meet all of those criteria. So like, okay, well, and actually like your smartphone meets more of your criteria than a virus does. But in my mind, of course, the virus is alive, but your smartphone isn't. And so I can't think it was John talking about would androids be considered alive? Look, these are complex issues. And so that's why, of course, the right wing just narrows it down to the most reductionist way possible. Oh, begins at conception because it stops you from having to think and do the hard work of trying to, find out what your position actually means.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the point that you bring up that a lot of this is talked about in the purview of family values, but of course, family values are just code for being controlling of women or being homophobic,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Because
That's
as
it.
you said, like if they wanted to be pro-family, they would want to provide things like free access to contraception, so you don't start a family before you're ready to, free in-hospital birth, free childcare, paid paternity leave, maternal leave, this sort of thing. But of course, they don't do that. All
Nope.
they do is impose policies that restrict the options that women have, and then they want to do things like overturn gay marriage or prevent gay people from adopting kids or using IVF. Like none of it is pro-family. It's just to
No.
mask their right-wing agenda, which is to limit freedom for all those that are non-conforming, or I suppose just not cis men. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
it's just bigotry,
Yeah.
is all it is.
And it's
And
also funny how they love to just advocate against all of those pro-family things that Jeremy just brought up. They say no
Yeah.
paternity leave whatsoever. Maternity leave, that shit's like 2 weeks. They want to just get rid of sex education just completely. I don't know if you guys saw the interview with Libs of TikTok
Oh my
that
God.
Taylor
Oh my God.
yeah,
yeah, I
Taylor
saw
Lorenz
clips of that. I
did.
saw clips of that.
It was a slog, man.
It-
Absolute charisma suck. Libs of TikTok is, but she from her position of power on the Oklahoma school board or
insane.
some school
Insane. Yeah.
position in
Yeah, yeah.
Oklahoma, a state
Library
that she
board.
says she's only been to once, that she has no connections to. She said she just wants to get rid of sex education entirely because all it does is show kids gay porn.
It's so weird.
Crazy.
It's so and you can like you show them all the
So
stats in the
good.
world showing that you know comprehensive sex education lowers rates of STIs, lowers rates of teen
Mhm.
pregnancies, lowers rates of sexual abuse for children.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It works every time it's tried. And by the way, the earlier it starts, the better your results are. And they're like, well, it's kind of gross. I don't like it. That's it. That's their entire opinion. That it comes down to
Yeah.
that. And John, oh man, we're on time. But I mentioned I had to say something that you talked about how it's funny how often we have these discussions about reproductive care rights when it comes, and the panel is just men. But I saw this stat talking about how we're having the growing divergence between men and women are becoming more left wing and men are becoming more right wing. And I saw this stat that it kind of surprised me until John said kind of tied it together, where it said that when Roe v. Wade was overturned, it was something like 65% of women saw it as a major issue, but it was only something like 31% of men. I was shocked the number was that low.
No,
I,
that's
I
crazy.
know men aren't having the babies, but I was like, gee, then I was like, oh, that's right. These are conservative men, and they ain't fucking. That's
They're
it.
not getting laid. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it right
Real.
there. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's what it comes down to. These guys, can't get laid at all, and so yeah, they're not worried about whether that's not having an abortion. So it finally made sense to me. I had a light bulb moment with something John said about conservative men. But
It's
yeah,
funny. I have a girlfriend who she always complained to me because she was like, John, I gotta stop dating conservatives, and I'm like, yeah, obviously.
And she's
Yeah.
like, I got a problem though. And I'm like, what? She's like, they're just more attractive. It's not my fault. And the other thing she told me is that none of them let her touch their butt. They're all they all don't let her touch their butt because they're like, that's gay.
Oh,
a girl touching their butt is gay.
Because that's gay shit.
That's gay shit. Yeah,
that's gay shit.
That's the gay organ.
The thing is that we're all dudes, we're all boys here, right? It's like for us, what's attractive to us is very simple. Like, it is not tricky to find out what you can find a woman that's on like a swimsuit, cover or something, and 95% of men are gonna be like, oh yeah, we all think she's attractive. For women though, it's all over the fucking map. Like you can bring out the guy who wins like People Magazine's sexiest man in the world, and there will be like contentious arguments with women's and only like 75% of them think he's attractive. It's like, man, that's weird. There's nothing like that for us, because a lot of their attraction is it's more personality based than ours. And the most important one is your confidence. And conservatives are brimming with fucking confidence. Like they have
unearned.
They have no reason to be, as self-assured as they are, but they have buckets of it. And so yeah, you can kind of skate by just on confidence alone. And yeah, they got that locked down. They do.
And the interesting thing is, it's like
to tell the server that
wait.
It's like
we just got a comment that said, "Yo, look at all these strapping young leftists." I don't know if they just joined in the middle of our conversation, but that was a well-timed comment.
It was.
The thing that I find funny about like conservatives and dating is like, yeah, they have all like they're incredibly bold. It will just be outwardly offensive, like they don't care, but they're also incredibly sexually insecure. Like they are terrified of a woman doing literally anything that they view as like gay, as you said before. But they view women as like conniving, controlling, and like they're keeping sex away from them. It's so insecure, but at the same time they have this sort of like unearned confidence about them that it just seems in total contradiction with how they act.
It's kind of feast or famine when it comes to right-wing men. That there will be the guys that we mentioned earlier who just they have no self-awareness, and so they're not afraid of being the Donald Trumps. Like Donald Trump was born with no shame. It's his superpower. But then I think that probably more conservatives, now that we mentioned it, do fall into the the awkward guy who hates / is terrified of women, and so he never makes a move or does anything like that. And so the conservative guys that are attractive are the ones that are the exception, probably not the rule. But they don't think about it as much as guys on the left do.
That's for sure. And by